Hello there, my name is Kivi Benjamin Nengishatirand, and just in case you are watching me for the first time and you don't know my story, in 2019 I wanted to take my life, but then God gave me a second chance. So I'm dedicating the rest of my life to spreading His gospel, love, and kindness. Okay, and today I want to talk about something. Something happened that prompted me to want to talk about this topic, and that is my body count before I gave my life to Christ. Yeah, I know it's a creepy topic, but then by the time I am done talking about this, I promise you will understand why I needed to talk about this. All right. So before I proceed, I would like to ask you this very important question, and that is, have you prayed today? Oh yes. You see, this is the question that God used to give me a second chance. So I'm asking you, have you prayed today? If you haven't, that is fine. Still go ahead and pray. So you see, when God gave me a second chance, I knew I needed to stay connected. I knew I had to build a personal relationship with Him, and I also knew that one of the things I needed to do was to stay sexually pure. Yeah, I knew I had to stay away from sex, fornication. So I must be frank with you, it wasn't easy. I mean, for someone like me that used to have multiple partners at the time, and then all of a sudden I wanted to stay completely away from sex. It wasn't easy. I won't lie to you. But then, one of the many things I love about God is the fact that He gives us the grace to be able to do that which He wants us to do. All right. So I prayed about it. Father, give me the grace to be able to stay sexually pure, and He did. All right. And here is what happened that is making me to make this video. All right, I love reading about the temptation of Jesus Christ. The fact that Satan was had the courage, the guts to tempt Jesus Christ after fasting for 40 days and night. That I find it laughable, but I find myself reading it all the time. Like, Jesus Christ, after fasting, Satan came to tempt him. So this morning I was reading that place, and the first temptation, Satan said, if you know you are the son of God, turn this stone into bread. We need to understand something about Satan. Satan is tricky. Satan is full of tricks, and look, Satan will always make these temptations look like a challenge. Humans, we are egoistic, so we want to prove a point. We want to prove you wrong. Satan said, of course, Satan knew, and Jesus Christ also knew that Satan knew that Jesus Christ was the Son of God. But you see that question, if you know you are the Son of God, that is a daring question. I dare you to, so that you wanna, we humans, I want to prove you, I want to prove a point. If you know you are the Son of God, change the stone into bread. And Satan also knew that Jesus Christ had the power to be able to turn the stone into bread. But if he had done it, that would be Jesus Christ obeying Satan, and that would be a sin. So Jesus Christ knew better. He said, it is written. It is written. To be frank with you, if I was Jesus Christ, I would have done it to prove to Satan that, yes, one, I'm the Son of God, and two, I have the power to do this which you are asking me, which you are daring me to do. But Jesus Christ knew better. He knew better. He said, no, it is written. So, and when I read that place, I connected it to what I experienced when I was staying away from sex, since I started the journey. It's been 2 years, going to almost 3 years now. To the glory of God, I've not had sex. I've stayed away from sex, no pornography, no masturbation, nothing. So I remember when I gave my life to Christ, when I was trying to build a relationship with God and stay faithful. Within that period till now, I've lost 3 relationships, and even in as much as I was of course I want to get married, so I was into, like, let's see where this will lead, and I'll find a nice girl in church. I like, oh, this is the fact that we made in church, maybe something will be, so we started a relationship, and that is how I lost the first, the second, the third. And after that I said, you know what, I'm done. I'm no longer doing relationship. I'll just stay. When the time is right, God will send that woman that He created for my rib. So this is something that I think it was the second girl. She was very religious, loved God, passionate about the things of God. She could speak in tongues, like bring down fire. But we stayed a couple of months, and she started, from the beginning we talked about it. I said, see, I was in the world. I used to do all of that, but I am no longer there. So there's going to be no sex. She said, no problem. She said she's not a virgin, but I said that is fine. I'm not about virgin. I just want us to like let's leave our past behind and move forward. No sex. She said no, no problem. So along the line, a couple of months into the relationship, all of a sudden she started complaining. She cannot spend the rest of her life with someone that she hasn't known. Like she said something that she needs to test the engine, the machine, something like that. That she can. So I said, I mean, we talked about this. So so she kept on talking about it. Like it was becoming like a threat. If we don't have sex, like she just wanted to see if I am not important. I said, girl, I am not important. And at that point, I got upset. I said, look, if you met me when I was in the world, because my body count was crazy. Damn. By the grace of God, I mean, I have women coming after me. Like, I'm not bragging. I'm not proud about it, but I used to have girls, women at the time when I was in the world. I used to do all of that, but so I told her, look, you should be happy that you met me now. If you met me when I was in the world, you won't have to ask for it. I'll give you by now. Maybe you'll probably be pregnant and I will leave you. So she said, no, she loved me. She want to get married, but she cannot go ahead to get married without knowing if I'm important or no. I said, no, I'm not. But since you are insisting, because it was becoming like a threat, I said, okay, you know what? I will allow you, all right? I'm not going to put off my clothes. Just touch it, feel it. So she did. And so she touched it and of course, I'm sorry, but I had an erection when she touched me, and she said, "Wow, it's not. I'm not important." Yeah, look, I said, "Yeah, I'm not. I told you I'm not important." So she said, "Since we've gotten to this stage, why don't we just go ahead and just once?" I said, "No. Why don't we just end this right now?" That was it. I told her, "Pick your phone, get my phone number off your phone, and that is it. Never." And that was the end of that relationship. I connected that to the temptation of Jesus Christ. How Satan can make this temptation, these things, daring and challenging. That how humans we are egoistic. We want to prove a point. If I had wanted to prove a point to that girl, I would say, you know what? I'm not important. You should bring it, and I'll hit it. I'll just and do you understand? So that is how Satan is. He knows we humans we want to prove a point. Who are you trying to prove a point to? Who? Nobody cares. Nobody cares. You want to prove a point. A friend says you cannot finish a carton of beer, and you say, "Bring it on, I can finish it," and you get drunk and maybe have an accident, will get yourself into trouble. A friend says you cannot. That girl is she's claiming to be who, and you say, "You know what? I'll get her," and you go ahead and who are you trying to prove a point to? Look, Satan will always come in different ways. Use people around us. He always makes it look like a challenge, daring. You know how I dare you to. Yeah, you want to prove a point. You want to prove the person wrong and all. It doesn't make sense. So I won't mention figures. I'm sorry, I won't mention figures, but I had a crazy body count before I gave my life to Christ. But this is almost 3 years. I've never had sex. Yes, I'm proud about it. No sex, no masturbation, no pornography. And this is the funny thing. When I was in the world having sex with multiple women at the time, I was still doing pornography and masturbation. But now that I'm not having sex, I'm not doing. So it can only be God. It can only be God. And I am so happy about this that the Lord has done. And I know there's so much that He's going to do in my life. And so I want to tell you today, when Satan dares you to do something, you don't need to prove a point. Stay blessed.